Stippling is a technique that you'll probably do more while you're painting other things than decide that you're going to go stipple something. I'm going to go get my stippling brush and go stipple that. I mean, you can do that, but really it's it's a technique that you do while you're painting other kinds of brush strokes. Let me show you what I'm talking about here with this. You can get these kind of brushes. I mean, this is like a stippling brush. It's like a giant kind of floor scrubber. But you see that it's got a lot of little tips on it, because what we're really doing with a stippling brush is using the bristle to create little dots, kind of like a stamp with the bristle. Very up and down, kind of reciprocative motion, as you're going up and down with a brush. Now these are kind of expensive and not terribly useful. There's probably a lot of other ways to create lots of fine dots. So what you're probably going to do is just use, you know, some kind of lay-in brush that has a kind of a flat tip with this. I'm just going to use that same blue from a minute ago. And I'm just going to come in here and gently kind of tap the brush up and down. And you're really going to want to move your brush around a lot. You're not going to want to move it while your brush is on the surface, because you'll create these little spirals. But you're going to want to tap the brush up and down to create this little kind of Dalmatian pattern, you know? It's basically these little dots. You can see I'm even smearing a little bit there. These little dots, they kind of tone in. It's kind of like almost the same effect that you get with a spatter, only with a lot more control. You know, if you were to come in with a spatter and give that a big smack, you might get some kind of paint where you don't want it. It's really great for just sort of toning an area, bringing in a little bit of texture. But where you're probably going to use it even more is when you're painting with some other kind of brush and you're making sort of regular brush strokes. You're saying like, all right, well, I kind of like what's happened with that brush stroke, but I want to break up this edge. So I'm going to not even think about it. I'm not going to stop and say, I am now about to stipple. You're just going to lay in your brush stroke and think, yeah, now we need to come in here and kind of break up this edge a little bit. And you're just going to tap that off, tap that a little softer there, so that you got maybe a hard edge. You do this a lot like marbling, or, you know, when you're doing trompe l'oeil work and you want to kind of break up an edge that's getting a little too sharp. You can come in with that brush and sort of stipple along with it. You don't even really need to do the tips of it. You know, you can use the tips like this, but you can also see I'm kind of stippling with the side of the brush to kind of soften up an edge. That's the sort of thing that you're going to do. You're going to be painting some other kind of mark, and then you're going to realize that, yeah, you know, I really want to kind of break it up a little bit in the middle there and sort of soften up that edge. That's more what you're going to do. You're going to switch to a stippling action, that up and down reciprocative action, kind of stamping with the brush, without even thinking about it. You're just going to do it thinking like, yeah, okay, now I want to break up this line, so I'm going to start stippling. But you, of course, can use it as a technique all of its own.